I'm Tactical Pascal, welcome to the channel. I hope this finds you all safe and well. In this DCS World video, I'm going to show you how to use the George AI helper in the AH-64D to fire hellfires. Let's get cracking. Okay, so here we are in the cockpit of our AH-64D. Now we're going to select some controls so that we can use George. So what we're going to do is go to AH-64D George AI helper. Now I want to select up, down, left and right. Now default is WASD, so up, down, left and right. Easy peasy. Bind them to a four-way hat if you have it, if not it's WASD. Now you can bind your George AI helper interface here, or you can do it in your pilot, and I have it bound there. So you've got George AI helper interface show hide. Now that button's going to bring up a little dial on the bottom right of your screen. Now what I want to do is also have consent to fire. Now this is going to allow me to tell George, yep, fire at that target, if I have him on command fire. So by default, when you bring up your George interface, you see the writing is yellow. This means that he's waiting on you telling him to fire. If you leave it as green, he will target and engage what you've told him to shoot at. So if you say, look over there, target that thing, until you say consent to fire, he'll just look at it. But if you make that green, it'll allow him to fire. Now to make it green, you push and hold the up on the George helper, and it goes to green again, push and hold up, and it deselects. Now if you want to change the burst on the gun, you're going to press right. And if you want him to look where you're looking, you're going to look at something, I don't know, truck over here. I'm going to press up, just tap it, and you'll see his pilot head move across. And then you see this window move on the left here. And we'll say look at the truck. So we select the truck and then we push right. Now target stored, if I go to the vid and go TADS, you can see there he's looking over at that truck. He's actually looking past this Humvee towards that truck. That's what we told him to look at. And if I wanted him to shoot at it, I'd give him the command or pilot consent, but I don't want him to do that just now because that's friendly. So what we're going to do is take off flight of the range, and it'll show how to use hellfires. Now to cycle between gun rockets and hellfires with George, you're going to push left on your AI helper. That brings up hellfire or rockets. And again, same thing, right changes the quantity that you're going to fire. Now I'm going to ignore the trajectory of the way it fires. I'm just going to take off with this set as default. I'm not going to go into that in depth because I'll be honest, I'm not expert enough for it to tell you. I'm not an Apache pilot. I've been fortunate enough to have an Apache pilot show me some stuff in the Apache, and without GM's help I would still be sitting on the ground not able to take this thing off. So what I'm going to do is taxi out and we'll fly off to the southeast. Sorry, southwest. Southwest I'm going? Yeah, southwest. And we'll engage some targets. So let's get moving along. Airborne. Then we'll get the nose up, get a bit of speed going. Then we'll head off towards our target range. Simple stuff. I don't want to go massively high, I'll go a couple of 100 feet. And then we'll engage targets from there. Now, they are down at the airfield. If I zoom in, targets are off down there somewhere. So we'll keep going up so we can get better eyes on, and we'll turn towards it. But what I can do now is I can see them through the trees there. And I'll tell George. So I'll look over towards it, make sure I've got my AI helper displayed. I'm going to tap the up. He'll slave himself over. It says deslaving, that means you can now look away to where you are, rather he's got his eyes on over there. Now he's moved the pod over. Now what I want him to look at, let's go for tank 1. So he's stored the target. What I want to do now is come down. I say a couple 100 feet, I nearly went to 1,000. I'm going to come down and I'm going to hold roughly in this position. So trim her up, bring my speed, so I'm still going forward at 40 odd knots. I'm still a little high for my liking, but ho-hum. Now, the box you can see in front just by George's head, you want to keep that somewhere near the centre of your aircraft. And he's looking towards the tank. I'll zoom in on the TADs. And then I'm going to tell him, once I stop trying to descend into the ground, let's hold a bit there. That's good. I'm going to tell him that I want him to fire at it. Now, when you adjust, if you find yourself shaking like I am there, when you adjust your elevation, it's because as you add power, obviously it changes the torque in the rotor, so you just need to be ready in your pedals a little bit. So get to where I was, and then it'll tell George.
Engaging.
To fire. And off he goes. One hellfire away. I really need new rudder pedals. Maybe Home Command will be kind and get me some. We can watch in the TADs. See what happens to that target. Obviously we'll keep it there so George can still laze it.
Target destroyed.
Target destroyed again. You want him to look at where he was, so push down, sorry, up on the assistance, and then we'll go for the next tank. Lazed and stored. You can see he's got it there, so I'm just going to move it into the middle again. Tell him engage. Now nothing's happening because he's not locked on yet. Now he is. The box has gone big.
Engaging.
Tell him again, engage. And off he goes with another hellfire. We'll see it going in again.
Target destroyed.
Target destroyed again. So look where you want. Push up on the George AI helper. Just tap it. Then we're going to go down on the George AI helper to select our target. We'll go for the IFV2. Then we're going to press right to select the target. Now you see the small square box. That's him looking for it. Now if I want him to fire at it without me telling him consent to fire, I'm going to press and hold the up on the George.
Firing.
And then he'll do it when he's ready. There's another hellfire off into the distance.
Target destroyed.
Easy peasy. Now the Apache is obviously a brand new module. It's just been released. There's a few people have had early access that have got videos and stuff out there. I recommend going and watching them. Guys like Casmo, obviously, he used to fly the Apache. He's going to have loads of good stuff on his channel. But also, come along to Tactical DCS. We get people all in training now with our very own Apache pilot GM, who's teaching a load of us how to fly this thing like absolute champions. Not that you've noticed from this flying, of course. It's been a bit shanky, but hey, talking you through a video. Do feel free to come along to Tactical DCS. The link is in the description below. I'll be doing more stuff in the Apache once I'm comfortable with it. I don't want to just pump out content there if I'm not really happy, but I am happy to use George with hellfires. So that's why I thought I'd make this video. Anyway, enough of that rabble. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, Tactical Pascale out.